So, Mark, let's be honest, you weren't entirely optimistic when you first got on board. And I hope you don't mind me quickly just speaking about the first text message you sent over when we initially got started. So, as I quote, it says, feels hilarious committing this much money to something I can 100% guarantee will not work. You've never tried advertising in a demographic like this. Obviously, I have zero hope of you hitting your guaranteed number of leads, which is a shame as you won't get your management fee. If you can get even six leads from the ad spend, you can hold your heads high. I know in hindsight we find this funny, but can you just unpack a little bit, why you were so convinced it wouldn't work?
Because I do a lot of ad spend and Facebook advertising stuff anyway,
Hmm.
and I spent probably £1,000 a month at least on Facebook before jumping on with you guys,
Hmm.
and it was just a waste of money, complete waste of money. And to be honest with you, I thought my ads looked good. I think the pictures are good. I think everything was, I think I was putting the right things out to the customer. With turn up in time or reliable. I think it was all the right stuff, but people just scrolled past. You'll get two
Hmm.
likes, very, very little engagement, very little in the way of people actually sending you a message and saying, what do you think of this problem, that problem? The the website went quiet. It was just an incredibly quiet time for the 2 or 3 months before committing to go with you guys.
Hmm.
Um, and I've spoke to marketing people before and agencies and stuff, and it just didn't work out for me. It was just so
Hmm.
when I was like, so when you gave me your cost and stuff, genuinely, I just started laughing. I was like, okay, here we go again. I'm wasting my ad spend anyway. I might as well let this boy waste it for me. Um, but I was wrong. So that's
Yeah.
why you look so smug, ain't you? How many inquiries have I actually had? Have you got that details there?
Yeah, so you've had 127 leads through in the first, just over the first 2 months of working with us. And, I was just going to go on to say, obviously at the start you were pessimistic because of previous experiences, and
Yeah,
I don't blame you at all. But do you
yeah.
remember the moment when you thought, hang on, this might actually be working?
About 2 days in.
Wow. Yeah. So it was
Yeah,
when the first
because
couple of leads started coming through.
well, they came through really quick, and they were
Hmm.
decent leads, and they were the right kind of customer. Um, it's a funny thing when I was doing my ad spend, it's like I was getting the bottom of the barrel customer. It's like six guys have been here already, and no one wants to work for this person. That's what
Hmm.
it felt like. And then your leads came in, and it was like these are a totally different quality of customer. Um, yeah,
You
and
mentioned,
another
sorry,
thing
go on.
that happens as well. No, no, you asked your question.
Well, I was just going on to say, obviously, you mentioned the difference between the leads you were getting before and now.
Yeah,
What type of customers were you getting, and what type of leads are coming in now in terms of the job sizes, how ready the customers are to get started, whether they had multiple quotes or not, etc.
I was getting very price finding customers. I was
Hmm.
getting guys that's had three, four, five quotes. Um, and they're just price shopping. But that's not the customer you want because you can't do the best job for the customer if everything's budget. They've got to kind of want to work with you. And my ads just weren't giving that to the customer that this is the company I want to work with. But the way you run it, it just puts so much reassurance behind you, and the customers, it's like they've pre-decided to work with you before you even give them a quote.
Hmm.
The way you've built it, and like I say, you're getting really good customers. And another perk that I don't think you maybe even realize happens, but all the other sources of getting leads in gets a boost because people have seen your Facebook ad, they see it, they see it loads, and then they maybe have a look on your website, and then you get the call from the website, and then you can get walking around with a customer, looking at their job, showing the problem, and then they'll turn around and say to you, "Oh yeah, because your Facebook ad, I've seen it everywhere and blah blah blah," but they go and fill the form in on your website, instead, like they go to your actual website rather than the lead form that you've built.
Hmm.
So overall, it's very, very good for brand awareness and getting the right customers. Um, but I mean, you said it there, 120 something,
127 to be precise. Yeah.
127, and I would say at least another 50, that isn't through your system or you monitor, has came through
Mm.
the ad spend with you. So if you work that out, that's realistically most roofing companies can't deal with that level inquiries like.
Mm.
But that's what you want because then you can get, you can kind of just pick the better jobs out.
You can,
So
yeah, you can be more selective in the jobs that are coming in. And it's interesting you touched on building your brand. 'Cause I remember on the first call I said Facebook ads aren't just amazing for direct response, obviously getting leads in the door, but Rossi Roofing as a brand is now expanding. And in terms
yeah,
of the impact on your business, which it has had, how has this changed the way you're operating right now and even how you're planning for the future?
it's not so much changed it, it's just made everything better. So
Mm.
you have an abundance of leads, so you're putting loads of quotes out. So naturally you're putting your prices up. Um, just because where before you're like, I've got wages to pay, I've got yard rent to pay, I've got stuff to pay. You'll get a job just to kind of cover wages and stuff, just to keep stuff moving. Now
Mm.
you're actually building in the profit margins you should have because if this customer doesn't accept, I've got 10 quotes out there, got a month of work ahead, through through your leads, there's more coming tomorrow.
Mm.
So before it used to be, will the phone ring? Will I get an inquiry? Will I get an email? Now it's like you're kind of, you're almost kind of wanting the phone to be quiet for an hour, but it doesn't.
Mhm.
It's kind of constant,
Yeah,
and that's how I describe the leads as constant.
yeah. Consistency is
Yeah,
there.
yeah, consistency is there, and you're not, it's out of your hands. The lead generation, you're not putting any time into it, so your time is dedicated to speaking to the customer, getting the prices out to them, and yeah, it's very good. It's good, like very good.
So going forward in the future, then I think we've had multiple discussions about expanding your team now that you've got that consistent
Yeah,
um, source of quality leads coming through. Are you still looking to get someone on admin and maybe some sales guys in the future and really expand Rossi Roofing as the brand continues to grow?
yeah, definitely going to get an admin person, someone answering the phone and stuff, doing invoicing and all that. That needs to happen.
Hmm.
Um, a salesperson, yes, I don't. It's not even so much a salesperson. I just need a surveyor. I just need someone to
So
go
there,
out,
yeah.
look at the jobs, and then relay back to the admin person what's going on, and then we can figure out a price and we can quote it and follow up and stuff. So
Yeah.
fine. I've just agreed to take on another two guys. Um, this guy had his own business. He was really struggling for leads. Um, and obviously I told him, look, I'm really busy. Um, and he's agreed to come work with me full time
Hmm.
and
Nice.
just give up, just give up on trying to find customers because the way he was doing it is the way just about everyone does it. It's like I've got a bit of sign writing on the van, bit of word of mouth. I know he's really good at his job, really good roofer, but he's not got the leads just isn't there. It's just not happening for him.
Yeah,
So
the old way that you mentioned there, the old way of growing, trying to grow on word of mouth, which don't get me wrong, is fantastic and it is a great way to grow. But realistically, now how competitive the industry is, you need a lead source which is going to be able to push your business forward and do what you're doing and actually grow your team and expand out with your brand as well.
yeah.
100%. And looking back, I know you've been working with us just over 2 months now. What would you say to someone who's in the same position you were, as you just mentioned, trying to rely on other ways of generating leads, maybe running your own Facebook ads, who are maybe a bit hesitant of getting started with something completely new, or even just not sure that it'll actually work for them?
Well, if someone's on the fence about using you, someone's thinking about jumping on with Decipher, it would be a way bigger risk, I would think, to not go with Decipher than to, that the risk. There's no risk. I know I know if anyone jumps on me, it's going to be good for the business. But say they're on the fence 50-50 and they're swaying towards it. I won't bother with that ad spend. It's a bit of money. It's definitely a mistake.
Mm.
Without doubt, it's a mistake. I mean, leads is the lifeblood. Leads is everything. You need them. You know, I don't care how good you are at your job or how reliable you are. If you don't have any customers to quote or any jobs to do, you know, and especially a lot of roofers, they get caught in the trap of working for builders for X amount a day, day rate to a builder or whatever, and you're just caught in that trap, always waiting for your money. If you get loads of domestic customers and loads of leads to do, the quality of your life is just far, far better. Like, you've
It's the lifeblood, isn't it? And I think that's what a lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
roofers are suffering with right now. It just doesn't have that reliable lead source where they can grow from. Because I think we're talking about this with your brother, who's also joined us as well,
yeah.
is the fact you can put as much effort as work in being the best possible roofer you can. But if you don't have that sustainable lead source there to drive the business forward, then you're just not going to grow.
Just doesn't work. No, doesn't
No.
work. But he's had an amazing couple of weeks as well. Yeah, yeah.
The
How quick was it? So I got, I've had quite a lot of. Well, one night I was on the phone to you, and I said I've got to go. I need to go and see a customer. That job got accepted on the spot for a 10 or 11 grand plus the VAT.
hmm,
I know Reese has had some really good jobs come in. Um, there was one there that I got not long ago, 27 grand. And loads of 4, 5, 6 grand stuff getting booked in. Regular. And like I say, you don't mind if it doesn't get accepted or whatever, because there's another three
yeah,
to look at tomorrow, another two to look at tomorrow.
yeah.
So
It stops the reliance on certain jobs. I feel like a lot of people, if they quote a large job and quote a decent roof replacement, it's really their lifeline for the month that will go
yeah,
through. But as long as you know more are going to come in the next day, then like I said, it actually gives you more confidence to go and sell and quote as much as you possibly can.
yeah. Well, there was one there that was quite surprising to me. So I went to quote a job. It wasn't through you; it was through someone recommended me. So I went to see the job, and to me, it was like a 40, 45 grand job. Would be my estimate. And a local roofer, well known, and we use the same company to wrap our vehicles and do signage and stuff. I was in there and they said, oh, such and such was in, and he said it's really quiet and he's really struggling for work and blah, blah, blah. And he quoted the same job at like high 20s. And honestly, I worked it out. He was breaking even, he was paying wages, you know. So that's the difference where he's putting prices in just to keep the wheels turning. And I'm putting prices in where it's like, cost 30, I want 30% profit on this,
Hmm.
you know.
Which you should do.
So which is fine. You're in the game for profit. I looked at him and he was like, by the time you pay the scaffold for him, the skips, the materials, he had a wee bit of profit in it, but genuinely very, very little. Like, and I told the
Hmm.
customer that. I said, when can he do it? Oh, he wants to do it in 2 weeks. You know, so for me to book a job that size, then it's next year. That's
Hmm.
2026. We're into December now.
Well, that's what I was
So
going to ask you, Mark. In terms with our leads, how far are you now booked up? It's nearing the end of the year, right?
yeah, getting that way.
And
So I think we've got 7 or 8 new roofs to be done before Christmas.
mhm.
There's re-roofs. We're on a re-roof now. Um, quite a lot of flat roofs, and then not much in the way of small repairs really, because when that people ask for that kind of stuff, I just say we won't get to you quick enough because we're
Yeah.
booking ahead, which is fine because you're booking 7, 8 weeks ahead. If someone's got a bigger project, it's easy just to say, look, we'll book you in for a new roof in whenever
Yeah.
February, and if you spring a leak, let us know. We'll come and do
Hmm.
something to stop the water coming in the meantime.
Yep.
So I feel totally free, and people can see it on me. Someone said the other day, "You look like the cat that's got the cream," and a builder's merchant. 'Cause strolling about, and I wasn't bothered. Everyone else is kind of in this
Yeah.
panic mode. You know, where I'm like, it's just Leeds is everything. Leeds is everything.
Did you expect to feel like this in 2 months' time after getting started?
Nah, nah. Well, I'm actually going to. I haven't told you yet, but over December and stuff. So I'm getting a guy the now. He's coming out with a drone. He's been to a few jobs we've done, and a few jobs that's not done yet, but will be done. And we're going to put a video out together. And I was going to propose putting that to you, and then over maybe December, January, maybe double the ad spend.
Yep.
Um, I'm not 100% sure, like, but that's what my initial thoughts is now is maybe double the ad spend and try advertise for people re-roofing into the summer 2026.
100%. Absolutely. And we can have a conversation
Yeah.
of that after this call.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So whereas other people's worried about wages on Friday, I need a job for Tuesday. I'm thinking about July 2026. And
Mm.
it's September
Planning for the
25.
future.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
how has the experience with us over the past 2 months really changed your outlook then on digital marketing? Because you're saying that this is giving you the freedom now to look into the new year.
I always believed in it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I always believed in Facebook ads and stuff. I had a bad experience with Google PPC at the start of the year. Spent like 5 grand, got turning wheels trying to pay wages was basically the whole game. And it's just one of them things where with Facebook ads, right? People think just do it myself. How hard is it? Or because like Facebook and stuff, they make it look so easy.
Hmm.
Like put your money here. They're not going to put any obstacles in your way to spending the money. But it's like someone's van breaks down and take it to mechanic. Someone's roof leaking. The phone a roofer. Whatever. But with ads and stuff, people seem to think they can just give it a go themselves.
Hmm.
And I thought that way. I thought it was like, yeah, throw money in it and you'll get something back out. But it doesn't really work that way. You still need
Yeah.
someone that knows what they're doing to manage the ad spend. And I've said this to someone else as well. And they were saying about, your, the ad spend plus the cipher's fee or whatever. And they're like, it's a wee bit of money, that's a bit of money, that's a bit of money. I was like, it's less than what you would waste on your ad spend doing it the wrong way anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
It's the
actually cheaper.
return that is the most important part, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's actually cheaper to get Decipher to run your ads. Like their fee pays itself because if you do it yourself, you'll make mistakes and you won't get the same results.
Hmm.
So though it's maybe, it's a bigger number, it's still better value,
Yeah,
if you know what I
100%.
mean. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, final question, Mark.
yeah,
Would you recommend us?
nah, nah. What you do, right, is just sorry. Yeah, I would begrudgingly recommend you because it's one of them where it's like it feels like you've got a head start. To me, I feel like I've got a head start because I've got you in my corner doing stuff in the background, and then, like I say, if anyone's on the fence and are thinking about it, just go for it because you'll not regret it. You will not
Hmm.
regret it. I went for
100%.
here and next to no work booked in, pricing jobs just to kind of get them. Like I say, planning for, I'm looking to book stuff in next year. So, I'm willing to pay the money to get it.
Hmm. And that's the
So,
most important thing, isn't it? It's like so many roofers get dug down in the leads, not having enough work, and then they're not actually doing what they're best at, which is roofing and focusing on
doing the
actually
job,
building
yeah,
the company, doing the jobs.
doing the
But
job.
thank you very much, Mark. It's been a really good conversation. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry.